Draft show is live.
We going right now?
Yep, we're live.
You gotta tell me before you start this.
Action.
Did you get peanuts
We're
for me
live.
to review? That was like one of the best spots on our last
Jessica
video.
thought Jessica was worried you were going to bring your own peanuts. She was like, I did all this work and Kyle's going to bring those nasty peanuts.
What, the boiled ones?
Yes.
I did a fresh, roasted peanut review last time.
Yeah. All right, well, we started late as is tradition with my live streams, although we barely missed the first pick as late as it took the Bears to decide what they were going to draft. Caleb Williams, as expected. Before we get too far into this, one thing I got to hear, this is the guy, he said Brock Purdy. He had Brock Purdy before everybody else. He had Jahmyr Gibbs last year. Who's the super surprise, secret, sneaky guy?
So I've been so busy this year that I didn't dive in like I have in the past.
It's like that's why I brought you here, is to do that.
I know. So it's not a surprise, but I would say my draft crush this year is Brock Bowers.
Okay.
I think the tight end position has gotten so important in today's NFL. Like if you look at all the top QBs, they have a solid tight end behind them. You know, like Mahomes has Kelsey, Purdy had Kittle, Lamar has Andrews. Like you have to have a solid number one tight end. You have to have that safety blanket. I mean, like even McNair had Wycheck. Like just having that solid guy to drop the ball off to. And, you know, I've heard a lot of people talk about Bowers. He's not your traditional lineup tight end. He runs from the backfield, the slot, the X, everywhere. So, you know, a lot of people are like, you can't draft a tight end that high. Well, you know, you're not really drafting a tight end that high. You're drafting a guy that can basically play every position on the, you know, like a white Debo Samuel.
So would you be happy if the Titans moved back a few spots, picked up a couple extra picks, took Bowers somewhere like
if Joe Alt
11 to
is off
15-ish?
the board and they picked Bowers at 7, I would not be angry, even at the 7 pick. If they could drop back and get him even better. But that's kind of like the big thing now. Everybody talks about trading back. And to trade back, you know, it takes 2 people. Like, ideally, it would be great to trade back. I think it would be fine, like, especially if Alt was gone. But somebody's got to want that pick.
2 picks in, Jaden Daniels to the Redskins or Commanders or whatever they are.
Isn't it funny how, like, the year before and the start of this year, it was almost a guaranteed Caleb Williams, Drake May, and then somebody always sneaks up through this draft process and gets hyped up. Like Jaden Daniels, like you didn't hear much talk about him even in the season.
Shout out Zane Stokely. He's a Joe Alt fan. He said, "Gotta hope Alt doesn't go to the Chargers." I think that's one thing that hurts us is that all the teams right in front of us all need the exact same thing that we need. It's like Cardinals, Giants, Chargers all need wide receiver, all need offensive line. Exactly what we need. So it could go.
You know what scares me
very badly
is all this talk about J.C. Latham. Like all day on the radio, like Coach Mack, all these guys that are connected with the Titans have been hyping up Latham, and it makes me feel like they're doing it so we won't flip the table when they draft him over Joe Alt. Because he's a right tackle. We need a right tackle, but we also need a left tackle, which is arguably more important. And I guess some people say that he can swap, but I don't know. I don't know why you would draft a guy that can possibly swap over a guy like Joe Alt at left tackle.
I don't know. We got that fancy top class best offensive line coach in the league apparently now.
Maybe they think they can have him groom somebody to kind of.
But that's one of those things that's overblown. Like he's not like Jesus. He's not going to take, you know, Isaiah Wilson and make him a Pro Bowler. Like you have to have some talent and a solid background, and he can take a good guy and make him great. But he's not going to take a total crap bird and make him an All Pro. And some people are kind of talking that way. Shout out to Matt's wife Jessica for the delicious spread we have here today.
The sliders are awesome, Jessica. I swear they're really good. They're delicious roast beef sliders. The little Hawaiian roll sliders is always like a game changer for football watch parties. I love these in all forms and fashions.
Ooh, that bitch is hot.
Yeah.
How are you eating that?
I don't know. stuck in my hands. Wide.
Like it burnt my hand.
I was talking to somebody at work. We rewound the clock to last year.
Yeah.
And the Titans decided to give one more year of the test run to Malik Willis and don't draft Will Levis.
Yeah.
We'd be better off if we could have gotten up into the mix to get one of these quarterbacks this year. I got out. We could have got the top 3 to trade with us, but if we're sitting there and could get J.J. McCarthy, would you take J.J. McCarthy over Will Levis?
I don't know, man. Like, I was Trevor Maddich was talking on 102.5's show on the way over, and it is such a crapshoot. Like, if you look at 2021's quarterback class, I think there was like 5 guys taken in the top 15, and only one of them.
Yeah.
And even like Trevor Lawrence, I mean, he's not as good as everybody thought he was going to be. Like the year that we took Malik Willis, they're all garbage. Like you just don't know.
Yeah.
Like it is a total absolute crapshoot. I mean, how many number 1 guys drafted number 1 overall end up being insanely good? I mean, it's not many. Like Joe Burrow is probably the last one. And what was that? What was that? 22?
Yeah, he's first overall picks. Who's been good? Peyton Manning, Joe Burrow.
We'll look at the top. So, best quarterbacks in the league. Lamar Jackson. I mean, was he into the first round?
Yep.
Mahomes was like 15th. Burrow was 1. Was Rodgers into the first, or was he second?
He was the first. He was one of the ones that like famously like sat there forever and was like got the embarrassing shots in the green room of him just sitting around not getting drafted yet.
I mean, you just don't know.
Jessica, will you spoon me some buffalo chicken dip onto a plate, please?
Who else was good? I don't know.
Not many first overalls. Peyton, Eli. Mahomes was, mid, or he was like mid first round when he
I
went.
want to say he's around 15.
Chips too.
Chips too. I guess I can make that. I think.
That was the draft where it was like Deshaun Watson, Trubisky, and
Yeah.
somebody else went ahead of him.
Who was number 1 overall? It wasn't Watson, right?
I don't think so. That's a good question. Let's see who it is.
Allen was the Rosen and Darnold.
And Daniel Jones and Dwayne Haskins.
But I mean, quarterback's just a crapshoot.
Mm-hmm. Patriots gonna make it 3 for 3.
You think Drake May?
Yep. Drake May goes to the Patriots.
I think, I've heard both sides of the ball. It seems like there's a lot of extremes on Levis. Like, a lot of people really impressed with what he did, and then obviously there's a lot of haters. I mean, you got to look, man. That he had statistically literally the worst offensive line in the league. 1 good receiver and no tight ends. Chig didn't start catching balls till the end of the season. I mean, he had no offensive weapons and still showed some flashes of being good. Like, I don't know that anybody could have been good behind the line that they had.
2018, Baker Mayfield went number 1
Baker
overall.
Mayfield. He just got paid.
Saquon went 2. Sam Darnold went 3. Josh Allen went 7. So maybe it wasn't the Josh Rosen went 10. Seems like 100 years ago Josh Rosen played. And they already had his jersey ready already. How'd they know? Bless you.
The main problem with them getting burnt is they're hard to like bite into. But they taste good.
Good taste, really good taste. Buffalo chicken was good too.
I did it different this time. I put it in the food processor instead of ripping it out.
I like it. It's a little easier to eat than kind of shredded chunk chicken.
Yeah, since I started making the dog food, I think it's suck.
So now it's Arizona.
Yep.
Are they for? So this is one of the ones where we started getting into trade territory.
Or Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah, we knew the first three were going to stick with those quarterbacks for the
So
most
you think
part.
they're
so
sticking with Kyler?
I think contractually they're kind of stuck in a spot where they can't get out of it right now. They're not going to tell the Giants might take a quarterback because they've got a out with Daniel Jones in like a year, but
That's right. So he could sit and learn.
yeah. But I think Arizona's stuck with Kyler for at least 2 more years, the way his contract is.
Gotcha.
He was pretty good. Towards the end of last season when he came back from his injury, so did enough to like give him some time to think about what to do.
Who, Kyler?
Mm-hmm.
Is he under 6 feet?
Oh, yeah. He's got to be like 5'8".
Drake May can clean up these things and can build around him, and maybe 3 or 4 years they'll be ready to compete.
The quarterback for the Cardinals.
Yeah, they said who. I can't remember what it was. I think it was like maybe like Bill Simmons or one of those Boston podcasts. They're saying whoever the Patriots draft needs to send like a big like bouquet of flowers to Jacoby Brissett and like a bottle of wine and be like, "Hey man, enjoy getting murdered this year, but keep it warm for me. I'm not coming in there until next year." Because they got no offensive line, no receivers. Not an ideal spot to jump right into as a rookie quarterback.
No, and I'm not saying Mac Jones could have been good or anything, but he definitely didn't get a good situation.
That's one thing I thought was kind of funny. Like, I kept hearing people say, like, "Oh, Caleb Williams might be like going into like one of the best situations, like a number 1 overall pick ever went into." And I was like, I thought the Bears like sucked. Like, I know they got DJ Moore and like a couple other receivers, and they're going to be able to do something
Dan Pastorini, he was good.
with the 9th pick. But
Wasn't he?
I was like, "Is the Bears? I mean, I guess they're better than who was the first overall pick last year." This was Bryce Young. I mean, he's going into a better situation than Bryce Young did going to Carolina, but I mean, fine.
Is he though?
I mean, he's got like at least a top receiver in DJ Moore, and
Yeah. They've spent some draft capital on
we know they got
offensive line.
they got Nate Davis. We know he's solid.
They got Darnell Wright, that guy from UT. They had Trevor Penning, which they moved into guard. So they're picking. I guess no trade.
Looks like it. Got it, Marvin Harrison.
I wonder who do you think will be the first surprise? There's always that, like Darnell Wright. He was pretty close to the top 15 when they picked him, and he was considered a 2nd rounder.
Yeah, I'm worried we could be the one that makes the first surprise. That's what I was telling some guys at work. I was like, we're in a good spot where like there's almost anything we could do that I think would be fine, unless we like draft like Keon Coleman or like a 3rd round offensive tackle that everybody else had 3rd round. We just really liked him. We had a 1st round grade on him. We don't care what everybody else does. Like, well, everybody else is probably right. You're probably wrong on that one. Did you know? Let's see who this is.
There he
It
goes.
is. Did you know that Vandy hasn't had a player drafted since Clark Lee took over?
Sounds right.
Isn't that crazy? They had one
but
guy.
I will say Ray Davis.
Said he's probably going to get drafted, but he transferred out, so he's not technically drafted from Vandy. And there was a defensive player, like a cornerback or something, that was the same thing.
There was a couple
Got
offensive
drafted
linemen.
last year.
I thought
Nope.
we had a big offensive lineman. They got picked up by somebody, maybe Alabama or
Maybe.
I thought.
It was in the Tennessean yesterday that said the only player that they have in the mix to even potentially be a draft pick this year is the punter. And I was like, that is alarming.
He has not done a great job. Although they beat Florida, so there's that.
Yeah.
Still waiting for James Franklin to come home. Don't care what anybody says.
All right. So everything chalked so far. Now it's where it gets interesting because we got Chargers on the clock. Does somebody try to trade up?
So
for a
this is
quarterback?
what scares me for Alt. This is our first hurdle. If we want Joe Alt, we need these guys to do Malik Neighbors, which they got rid of Keenan Allen,
Well,
Mike Williams.
I want Malik Neighbors, so I need them to get Malik Neighbors. I just my thought process is Titans have had a really bad offensive line for just recently. We've never had a good wide receiver except for A.J. Brown. We threw him in the trash like after 2
Derek
seasons.
Mason, Nate Washington. Nate Washington was fantastic. That catch off the back of that Detroit Lions player's head was one of my favorite catches in Titans history.
They were very admirable, solid players. I don't know that I would call any of them like elite wide receivers. Derek Mason was on
really good.
Buck Rising's podcast, and they were actually joking. And like Buck Rising was like, "Do you ever get tired of the fact that you're somehow still the best wide receiver the Titans have ever had?" And Derek Mason's like, "It shocks me every year." Even he was like, I have no business still being the best receiver that's ever played for this team. But I was like, yeah, go to any other franchise. They're like, yo, your top receivers you ever had are Derek Mason and Drew Bennett. It's like,
here's a fun fact I meant to talk about. So I don't remember where I saw it, but if you look at the top paid, maybe the top 10 or 15 highest paid wide receivers in the NFL, you know how many of them were drafted in the first round?
Debo, no. AJ, no. Tyreek.
No, he was way back. Devontae Adams, way back.
I mean, Devonta Smith, he's first round. He's first round, I think. Devonta Smith is first round. Devontae Adams.
But I don't think he's had his second contract.
Yeah, he just got paid.
Did he?
got
okay.
a contract.
Okay.
Somebody said AJ just got a new
this is
contract
pre
today.
I didn't see that.
I don't know. Who else?
So Smith would have been one of the only other ones because Jamar
Chase was the first round. Chase was first round.
But has he been paid?
No, I don't think he's got a second contract yet.
So I can't think of any.
That was like where it was the deal with him and why they might have to trade Higgins is because they got.
So my point is,
Justin
a majority of the great wide receivers are second to fourth round. Look at how many first round wide receiver busts there are. There's a ton. We've got one riding the pine pony as we speak that looked like it couldn't miss.
I kind of keep forgetting Treylon Burks is still.
I mean, he literally, when you watched his tape in the draft process, you thought he was this guy can't miss. He's huge, had great hands in college, super athletic, yak beast.
He's had like 15 concussions.
Ooh, they're playing the Axel Foley.
What's Detroit? He's from
You know
Detroit.
that there's a follow-up coming out.
Yeah.
I'm kind of stoked about it. These are some of my favorite movies.
Detroit cop goes to LA. What happens next? Jessica's lost.
Please don't pick J.P. Latham. Anybody but him. I don't want to listen to Jared Stillman talk about it for the next 6 months.
Is that who he wants?
No, he hates these things that they don't need to do it. So
Well, Jared.
Somebody's here.
If Jared Stillman said no, then now I think we should draft him. That guy's the dumbest guy in Nashville media. So if he's opposed to it, if he thinks it's a bad idea, then I'm now Latham just shot to the top of my draft board. That's the top of my big board because anybody that dude doesn't like has to be actually like really good. We're still live. I'm just going to get.
He gets it. T-Mac is 5 free. That's a big flex.
The NFL present pretty good at 92. With the draft coming up, here's some advice for new players. If you're drafted last, don't stress about the name. It'll pass. It's irrelevant. What's up? Yeah. Also, don't slack on your game day fits. Got any jeans, khakis? Finally, don't just buy any new car. Get something that lasts, but also stands out. This is nuts. Let's go places.
Oh, quit! He can talk on the phone. He can talk on the phone. No, all of stop.
Mark, what'd you do?
Because Kyle's on the phone. They decided they do not like him talking with somebody on the phone.
Who did he call?
What the French toast?
Is it somebody he was not supposed to call? Somebody he's not allowed to talk to?
Potentially.
Remember, we're alive, so don't do anything illegal while we're alive.
I don't do anything. I work for the government.
Well, that's the most corrupt organization of them all. So, my tax dollars, I want them back.
They don't go to me. From the Wilson County government.
Their tax dollars.
Yeah. Do you live in Wilson County?
We just say tax dollars generally. We just say ours.
I said
Doesn't
I want my tax dollars back. I want to repay.
He pays for this house and this life that you live.
No, he doesn't.
His podcast pays for all of this.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, Matt provides this wonderful home that we're in and this food spread.
I did buy the paper plates, so we would be eating off on the ground and out of our hands like homeless people if I didn't buy the plate. So
He's not wrong.
you're welcome, everybody. Everybody is welcome.
Regular plate.
Everybody is welcome for the support I provide to this family. Pick is
I'm
in.
gonna get if they can make the food next time because I failed.
Oh, please don't be alt.
What's it gonna be? Is it gonna be the? No, we're 2 picks away.
These guys
Chargers.
could potentially pick somebody that we need.
Chargers. This is gonna be. Let's be a.
Hopefully Harbaugh is an idiot.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, if he feels like it's a Harbaugh pick, it feels like they'll go offensive line. If it's a modern NFL general manager pick, it'll be wide receiver. Huh? What'd you
Is
say?
there something going on in Nashville? Like, you know, like even though it's not in Nashville,
I'm
they-
sure there's watch
Yeah, the
parties.
Titans did a watch party down at the stadium. I had tickets to it because I had to.
You usually have tickets.
Yeah, I had to go to the work thing before, so I wasn't gonna have time to get from that to downtown. So just came home.
That's what I was wondering.
Who has a Doomsday better than Neighbors? That's
I don't know. I've heard some people have said that both of them were better than Harrison. I've heard different people rank them different ways. So I've seen
I think
most.
that's just people trying to stir up talk pre-draft.
It does feel like the draft is too late. Like the draft needs to be closer to the combine because there does feel like there was like this month period that we just got through where everybody's just like changing their minds about stuff just to change their minds because they've been talking for too
Oh.
long.
They just showed their 2020 draft pick.
Who was it? Herbert?
Kenneth Murray.
Oh, Kenneth Murray now for the Tennessee Titans. Legend. Here we go. Chargers. What are you going to do? What is the Chargers
Don't
going to
be
do? Joe. I don't hate it. He's going to be good, but
No, that
come
means
on. Come on.
they're going to draft J.C. Latham. You watch, and I am going to lose my mind. This makes me hate my life.
Come on. Joe Alt, I think he went almost, I could almost sort of predicted we weren't going to get him because I think every mock draft I looked at for like the last month had us getting him. So
Yeah.
like, well, look at him. That's what he looks like now. He looks like Taylor Lewan in 3 years.
It's 100%. I
Because he
do.
looks like that same kind of like chubby, plain looking face that Taylor Lewan had when we took him, and then 2 years later, Taylor Lewan had a mustache and tattoos all over him. He's the craziest looking dude ever now.
Yeah.
I want to go to a draft party. I want to be invited to like a 10 prospects draft party.
Okay, so you still have JJ McCarthy would be the next best QB.
We got JJ McCarthy, Malik Neighbors, Dunze,
So JJ goes to
all the other tackles.
the Giants.
JJ could go to the Giants. Mike could try to get that. Momo! Enough!
Then there would be
Holy Momo.
That sucks.
Somebody could trade to that pick to take the quarterback. Holy! The computer around.
Because they have a good offensive line. Does they have Slater on? Well, is Slater right side?
He's left. That's why a lot of people were projecting them to take
Latham.
because they already had their left tackle, but they also said Slater could move to the right or vice versa. So I think that was why so many people had mocked Joe Alt to be on the board when we came up, because they felt like they already had their left tackle and might not go for a traditional left tackle, which has always been weird to me. Like, I don't understand why
would you
dudes can't play either
ruin
side.
our lives by picking another left tackle when you have a starter? We have none.
Giants look like they're set to make a
just
pick.
greedy.
They look like they're making picks. Don't look like they're
Doesn't look like a trade.
interesting. What are they gonna do? I think what's it gonna be?
They pick.
Oh, they got Brian Burns. They traded for Brian Burns. That's a good move for them.
They are going to pick QB or receiver. So is it Neighbors or McCarthy? I think you're down to those
Pick
two.
is in. Pick is in.
I don't see anybody that would need to move up to get what they want from us. Minnesota, no. Vegas, I don't think so. Maybe Chicago to jump Atlanta if they wanted something. But even then, you're not going to get a lot out of it. Maybe a third.
My mom just texted me. She's like, "Damn it, Jim Harbaugh." She hates the Harbaugh brothers. Like, they're on
I
her.
hate them too.
They're on her enemy list. It's like all-time enemy list. Like them, Bill Cowher.
Well, your mom's a smart lady because they all suck. We're going to go Latham. I guarantee it. We are 100% going JC Latham. There's no doubt.
I mean, we need a left tackle and a right tackle. So if a right tackle is the best thing we can get, might as well get the best thing we can get and figure out left tackle some other way.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Go wide receiver. Just have people over the field wide open all the time, and the linemen don't have to block that long. Give Will Levis some weapons. Let him just dart the ball around. Here we go. This is going to be crucial. Elite Neighbors.
Going all in on Daniel Jones.
This is the guy I wanted.
JJ McCarthy was just on a podcast the other day talking about how great his visits were with the New York Giants and how much he liked them. Sorry, friend. The draft's a bitch.
I think with all Neighbors off the board, I like a Dunze. I wouldn't mind if we take a Dunze, but outside of that, I'm team trade back now.
We're not going to trade. There's nobody that needs our spot.
Somebody might get crazy and
Nobody.
you never know. Raiders, they're the worst run franchise in the league. They might go nuts and think they have to trade up.
We're going Latham. I want Bowers. If we go Bowers, I'm going to flip this table.
I want the Dunze or trade back. Titans are on the clock.
Here we go.
Unofficially.
The moment we've been waiting for. I'm definitely whoever is the best player on their board. I don't care who it is. Just I think drafting for talent over need in the first round.
Well, that's the other thing is we have so many holes still. I mean, we can literally. Everybody always like, oh, we always just take the best player available. It's like I don't think that's really true. I don't think most teams do that. We're in a spot where we have so many bad holes. We could definitely just take whoever we think the best player is, which I hope is Roma doing second. But you never know. Another thing I've seen people say, and this is not something I know, is that next year's offensive line class is pretty stacked too, but next year's wide receiver class isn't that
The thing
great.
is, though, like these 3 receivers that just got drafted, not all 3 of them can be good. Only one of them's probably like odds are only one of them is going to be good.
But Dunze was who I wanted coming out of the end of the college season, and then people talked me into Neighbors. But so I'm going back to Dunze. I'm going to go back and say I wanted a Dunze all along. Take a Dunze.
You got to quit flip flopping.
It's the American way.
This is the best part of the draft. It's those sweet coats they get to wear.
It would suck to be like a player that's getting drafted this year, and like Detroit's the host city
Instead of
like Vegas or Nashville, or like Chicago or somewhere like a cool town to visit.
I don't know that Chicago's any better than Detroit.
Chicago's nice. I've been to Chicago. Chicago's nice. It's decent.
Dang it. No trades.
Could be us. Somebody might get the itchy trigger finger. You know, I think the Raiders, the Vikings, probably both want a quarterback. Maybe if they can get one. Does either team get a little?
Okay, so Chicago
Antsy.
needs a receiver. They could feasibly, if they thought we were going to take a Dunze, could go up for another receiver. Atlanta, a lot of people have them mocked with Dallas Turner.
Yeah, so somebody could jump up if they want to get ahead of them to get him or something like that.
Denver needs a quarterback because they have maybe the worst quarterback room I've ever seen in my life. I have Jarrett Stidham,
Yeah,
Zach Wilson, and some guy I've never heard of.
I put 2 bets in on the draft. I bet under 4.5 quarterbacks in the first round. So basically, nobody's
under.
Yeah, so basically saying nobody's going to go for Penix or Knicks.
I don't know.
They'll both slip to the second. Basically, what your bet is. Which if nobody trades up, if McCarty stays and he falls into the team,
Denver and Vegas could potentially jack you up.
But they might look at and do what we did last year, where they say we can trade backup to get
because
them.
nobody else behind
Yeah.
us needs.
Yeah,
that's fair. And you had quarterbacks go 1, 2, 3. So those early second round picks, yeah.
So everybody that's in front of you already got their quarterback. You know,
you're not worried about them going in the first couple of picks in the second.
And then the other bet I bet was, I think his name is Bryant Murphy. Is that a name?
Not that I've heard.
It was like a defensive tackle over out of Texas. He was like the second. Most people had him as like the second-rated defensive player, and I bet him to be the first defensive player taken
over Dallas Turner.
Yeah, I just thought same as what I said about us getting mock Joel. I saw like every mock draft had that dude going 8 to the Falcons, Turner going 8 to the Falcons. I was like, too many people think this is going to happen. Something crazy and stupid is going to happen. And the thing that happens, it's going to happen at some point in time, and I hope it's not us, but the teams that are picking high because they suck and they're stupid. So somebody in the top 10 is going to do something stupid. Hope to God it's
going to be.
I hope it's not us. But somebody in the top, somebody in the top 10, because that's what dumb franchises do, is they do dumb things that keep them picking in the top 10.
The Texans, apparently.
Well, how many years did they have to be dumb before they finally struck gold? Like they had that preacher was running their team for like 2 years. Like they were dumb for a while before they finally just remember like their GM was like the former. They hired like the Patriots, like former like Chaplin was their GM at one point.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that when Bill O'Brien was actually the kind of GM? All right, picks in, no trade. Here we go.
I think the guy came in in like a lower level position when Bill O'Brien was there, and like stuck around after Bill O'Brien and worked his way up and eventually became general manager. But I was like, this guy was like the Patriots chaplain like 2 years ago. How is he running your team now?
All right, here we go. Ah, it's Latham, guarantee it.
Like, there's so many players right now they could pick that I would be okay with, and I'm like, what are they going to do to screw it up? I'm like, I can't even like think of a player they could draft right now that could screw it up, and they'll figure out a way to do it.
10x.
JJ McCarthy. I don't even know if I'd be that mad about that. I'd be okay with it.
I would be mad about JJ McCarthy.
I mean, how about you said? We might be in the mix for Penix or Knicks in the second round because that's our MO is every year we trade up into the second round to get a quarterback.
It's happened once.
Twice. Malik Willis.
We got him in the third.
Might have been the third, but we traded up to get him. We traded up 2 years in a row. We traded
He
up in
was
the
a
draft to get a
third round
quarterback.
pick.
Should be undrafted free agent.
He took my bullet.
I told him I'm going to flip this table if they draft J.C. Latham. Just want you to be prepared for that.
It'll make for good content.
You got a
It'll be good for
warranty
the,
on this floor.
it'll be good for the video.
He's okay with it.
Wilson.
That table is like custom made.
Mm-hmm.
It looks stout. It looks like it'll survive a flipping. I'd be more worried about the gravy boat.
And my new rug. Spend money on.
It's okay. I'll pay to get it washed. I'm still flipping the table if
Do
they
not
draft
flip
it.
it. If you flip my table, Kyle.
Pick is in.
I'm also not going to go home if I flip it either.
What's it going to be?
I'm not going home if I flip it either.
Here comes Roger.
But you live here now?
Oh, boy. Look at this. A.J. Brown, a 3-year, $96 million extension. He got another deal. All right, here we go. Well, he said he was going to do it. He said he would do it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Kyle, you say a lot of shit. You say a
let
lot
us know
of
in the
shit.
comments if I should flip this table now.
Comment down below. Should Kyle flip the table?
If the people say to flip the table, I'm going to flip the table.
I will fight you. And Matt can tell you my little fist hit really hard.
Here we go. J.C. Latham, tackle out of Alabama, is
Why
the
were you
pick
so upset
for the
about that?
Titans.
Because we don't need it.
Well, we do need a right tackle. So. Not as badly as left tackle, but we do need a right tackle. So he's a big beast looking dude.
They converted him to left tackle. Phil Callahan is now the offensive line coach for the Tennessee Titans. If you're talking about converting a guy from right tackle to left tackle, and they were planning to do
He said somebody definitely shot you there.
they decided to just leave J.C. Latham. Guess what? We've got to make some movement. And then one of the best
J.C. Latham, written in the stars. I'm talking about the whole draft. You had to know what was going to happen after you talked about basically the whole draft.
Colts get Brock
Latham.
Bowers, I'm going to lose my shit.
Ooh. Who did they pick? Oh, they got a while. They're good. I told you they were still
They
good.
were delicious.
They're
And
still
you
good.
had to come apart.
They just taste crispy. They didn't taste like they were burnt. They just taste like crispy a little bit. They're good.
I know. That's why I was so upset. I spent like so much money. I got like the really good like Boar's Head London Broil. And
Bless. Fuck.
Okay, you want to give any final thoughts on it? I think I'm going to cut off the live stream because that was probably the most entertaining part of it for us was our pick.
you only get one pick.
This is
You don't
stupid.
loop back around.
You get one pick per round. They're only doing the first round tonight. So
Second and third are tomorrow.
unless we go crazy and like trade back into the first round to get an extra pick, that's it for us. So how would you grade the pick? What's your grade? Rand Carthon looks happy. He's clapping. He's smiling. He looks like a happy guy.
F-minus.
Amy's there. She approved of it this time. They didn't pull one off
He's
on
the
her.
next Isaiah Wilson.
F- is your official grade. JC Latham. All right. Well, I guess that's it.
He does look big.
He's huge. I mean, he's a monster. He's like 8 feet tall.
Joe Alt was 6'8". This dude's 6'5".
So here's-
a baby.
Here's my question. Why can't he play left tackle? Is that like I don't ever understand that with tackles? Why can't a guy just
It's
go
a
play?
totally different position. It's like Why can't a safety go play cornerback? It's a different position.
Is it really?
Yes.
Is it really?
Your stance is different.
I was like,
Because
isn't the
you
difference between like being left-handed and right-handed?
Yeah.
But your hand goes on the ground different. I don't know.
Matthew,
Your first step's different.
Matthew, I don't think you're very good at going to play about playing position.
All right. Well, you heard it here. F- for the Titans in the draft. Just disaster of a first round by that grade, I guess. But we're going to cut off the live stream here. If anything crazy happens, if the Titans get back into the first round, which I don't see happening, or anything insane happens, it's worth jump back on. We'll jump back on live, but I think we're pretty much done here for the night.
Damn it.
Kyle's just going to be cussing and breaking stuff, which is not going to be – will get us banned from YouTube if he keeps doing it.
She's lucky that nobody commented to flip the table because I 100% would have done that.
Thank
You
you.
had your choice. You
Thank
had
you,
your chance.
viewers. You saved our furniture. All right, wrapping it up. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your bagels.